Well, good afternoon everyone and welcome to my 4th annual video of the financial pain that is owning a Land Cruiser. I am about to get absolutely soaked because there's a massive cloud coming directly overhead. The wind is howling. I'm a little bit concerned about this tree, but thank you for watching anyway. I've got my clipboard and I'm in a forest, so it's definitely that time of year. Grab a beverage and I hope you enjoy the video. And remember to click the thumbs up if you're enjoying the video and subscribe if you want to see more of this sort of content. Now this year, I'm going to try and convince you that this is a good idea for your personal finances. And my wife is watching, so please bear with me. And this was my cheapest year yet, and I spent, oh my goodness, this is getting worse, right? Hood's going up for a brief time here, because it's just getting worse. This was my cheapest year yet, and I spent £3,855. And that's like half what it was last year. This rain is so bad, I am now going to sit in the car. I am not having this. We will take a break. What the fuck? All right, we're back with a few minor changes. First, I've moved the car. Second, and that means it can work as a windbreak. And second, I've got my notes in a plastic wallet now instead of the clipboard. This cost me £321 a month this year in repairs, maintenance and bills like insurance. This was my cheapest year yet and I spent £3,855 and I'm going to stop shouting because it's weird. I've got this microphone on, I don't need to shout. So that's like half what I was last year. So stick around and I'll break all that down for you. In my 4th year, I have covered 3,751 miles and we replaced our family car with it was a Volkswagen Golf. We replaced it with the Toyota Corolla Touring Sports, which is a mouthful, but it's a Corolla hybrid estate car. It's been absolutely brilliant. It's been amazing. We drive it everywhere, and that has meant less miles going onto the Land Cruiser. It's quiet and comfortable, and due to Scotland's restrictive emissions laws, I can actually drive that into a city, because the Land Cruiser's banned from going into town. What the fuck, I hear you Americans say. Yes, here in the UK, some of our major cities don't allow vehicles to enter, old vehicles, you know, high emissions vehicles. They just don't allow them in. You will be fined, and the fine doubles every single time you break the rules. I now have 206,000 miles, and if you're new here, I bought this car 4 years ago with a phenomenal full service history and no major issues apart from surface rust, lots and lots of surface rust. I have had some engine issues this year. I've driven around 600 miles on the limp mode. Thanks to a little secret with the cruise control, I was actually able to complete my journey anyway. Limp mode on this car, at least the 2003 model that I have, the limp mode prevents the car from accelerating, but the cruise control stock still works even when the pedal doesn't. Look at an aircraft crashing, and it's a train. Fortunately for me, I always travel with a text stream and a laptop, or at least the King Bolin Bluetooth diagnostic adapter. So for me, I can just pull over, diagnose what the management light is, and then decide if I want to keep driving or not. And you can probably know me by now, I always keep driving. One of those issues was AHC related, and the other one was a wiring fault, which Cruiser Patch helped me out with. Big thumbs up to Cruiser Patch, because I was able to fix that for £10 just by replacing the specific wiring connector that had broken. So thanks Patch for your help there. This year, I'm going to change the way I talk about the costs by excluding the mods. Some folks have been upset that I include those, so fair enough, I'll take them out. Let's just talk about the repairs and maintenance for now. Yay! I spent less than usual. This is good news and quite unexpected, to be honest. First year, 6.5 grand. Year 2, 5.5. 7 and a bit thousand in year 3, and this year 3,855. That's the cheapest year yet. I may or may not have spent £8,000 on mods, but we're not going to talk about that, remember. This year, I've actually had to have a right good look at myself, because this is a very old car, and it seems crazy to spend this much money keeping it on the road. So I've had a right good look in the mirror, I've had a chat with myself. If I didn't have this old bus, and I wanted something of similar size, similar comfort and capability, what would I actually buy? And I'm also going to let the dog out because he's been patiently waiting to me natter. Come on then, boy, you can come out for a bit. Yeah, good dog. If I was to replace this with something, Range Rovers and super luxury things like the LX550, they are not the same thing. My 100 series occasionally smells like that dog, and they are pure luxury. Super duper luxury, £1,700 a month. They're not the same thing. So there are two things that I could reasonably compare this to. One, a Land Cruiser 250 Commercial Edition, and 2, a fucking van. And for the sake of conversation, I'll show a chart of some options that I looked at this year. I am pretty sure I'm going to get absolutely soaked here.
A few moments later.
I'm giving up. I can't even think straight. I'm so cold, I'm so wet. I'm going back home. I give in. I'm going home, and I will come back when it's dry.
3 hours later.
I had to give up because the rain got so severe. I was getting blown around all over the place. My notes were getting soaked. I was just becoming generally sad. Right, we'll try this again. The sun is going down shortly, but hopefully we can get this over with before it starts raining again. Right, where was I before I took a soaking? I was basically saying that I've had to take a right good look at myself this year and figure out whether or not this is actually worth running as a 23-year-old vehicle, or should I just buy something new? For the sake of conversation, here's a chart of the things that I looked at this year. Top of the charts on the right-hand side, 120 grand it would cost me to import a 550. 105,000 for a Range Rover. Like down the bottom end, there's a Hilux at like 50 grand. The list prices are mad now. The cost of new cars in 2026 is astronomical. Most of these comparable trucks and vans are over 60 bags, and the depreciation is so severe that I could just never do it. I just couldn't force myself to do it. A 250 commercial will cost 670 quid a month on a lease deal. And that would be the cheapest way to get one, even though I hate the very idea of paying money and never owning it. In 4 years, I'd pay £32,000 and I'd have nothing to show for it other than memories. I would own nothing. A Ford Transit, which is the UK's most popular van, would be £750 a month. So in 4 years, I'd pay £36,000 for it and I would own absolutely nothing. I would have nothing to show for it at all except a collection of caravans, and I'd have been forced to marry my sister. A little gypsy joke for you there. So that would be for the 350 all-wheel drive, which has the same towing capacity as this. That'd be 3,500 kilograms, £7,700 if you're in America, same as the Land Cruiser. A Range Rover, £1,500 a month, and you'd still be limited on mileage at that. The Grenadier, £1,000 a month. There's that Land Cruiser 250 commercial right in the middle, £672 a month. I went on the websites and I got quotes for these, but I just can't believe how much they all cost. At the very best, a Defender would be £700 a month if you could find a deal like that. Discovery commercial, same thing, £750. Like a Hilux would be a reasonable option because you can get them for 500 quid a month if you get the Invincible X spec, or for £350 a month, you can get one that's in pure peasant spec, painter and decorator edition with rubber floors and probably doesn't even have a radio. So as you can imagine, I found myself disappointed, and I'm going to stick with the 23-year-old Land Cruiser. So with that settled, here is everything that I've spent in my 4th year with the Land Cruiser 100 series. All right, top to bottom. First thing I had to do was replace this aircon compressor. That was 180 quid. And this was a mistake because I didn't actually need a compressor. What I needed to do was tighten these belts up. This one is already leaking. I bought it used and it's already leaking, so I'm gonna have to repair that. Fortunately, I've got a gasket kit. So that was 180. Recharging it, 65 quid. A whole bunch of bolts because these are left threaded bolts and they broke, and a few other ones. I had to spend £38 on Toyota bolts. New belts, 24 quid. Service caps. These service caps were missing, so again, I got them off Amayama, and I was able to get them for 8 quid. I also had a bunch of leaking O-rings, so hard to see, but in here and at the back of the system, there's some O-rings, and both of those were leaking. All I did was just went around with the UV dye and looked for anywhere that there was a leak, and then I swapped out the O-ring. 4 quid worth of O-rings. The swirl flaps, I finally sorted out the aluminium delete plate. I spent about £40 on, sorry, not £40, I spent £30 on like aluminium welding materials to finish that up. And I discovered that my coolant was pretty manky after I had a leak at the rear pipe. So I just took all that out, and that was £52 to replace the entire coolant with the good Toyota stuff, 52 quid. Small one at the back here, I replaced this gas filter. I don't know what it filters, but it's called a gas filter, and that was £16. My usual air filter for another 15 quid. And then I repaired a bunch of the plugs at the back here. Fair old mission, swapping out the SCV plugs. You can just see the plug on the end there. Replaced that, 10 quid for a replacement plug, and that was one of my engine management lights. A fault due to broken wire there, sorted that for 10 quid. Big thanks to Cruiser Patch for the recommendation. So the total for aircon alone was £319. But for now, it's working, but still leaking. I'll probably have to fix that again this year. Now, my rear end got overhauled this year. It was long overdue. I did the Panhard kit and arms and such. Lots of money on mods, but as I say, I'm not including that now. But just the maintenance items for the old bushes and things that I had to swap out, A Dobinson's polyurethane bush kit for the back here. That was £351, and that includes the considerable shipping and import costs of tax from Australia. To fit all those bushes, I didn't do that myself. I got a garage to do that for 80 quid as part of some other work that they were doing, part of which was a four-wheel alignment that they did for £130. My front camber remains a problem, and that's because of the lift. It's my own fault, right? So I'm gonna have to figure out how to do the cam adjusters so that I can get a bit more caster and a bit more camber. Basically max out the front adjustment on the upper control arms. I had to do my steering rack bushes again. Well, I didn't have to, but I did them anyway. Super Pro steering rack bushes, they were £100. Turns out I didn't need those. It was my lower control arms, but we won't say any more about that. Engine mounts, I finally did my engine mounts. That was £90. I did another front AHC sensor. That was 50 quid for the Chinesium copy, because I didn't want to spend like 300 notes on the Toyota one, because I could just buy a bunch of them. So that was £50 for that. I did diff breather extensions, because after my dreadful undersealing job, the diff breathers were all gummed up with dinitrile anyway, so I replaced them with a longer hose kit and some little Amayama, Toyota genuine breather plugs that I could stick in. 25 quid. I renewed my magnetic sump plugs. That was £12, and then like 7 quid for some grease. I also did my usual oil and filter. That was £91 because it's 11.4 litres of oil, so you gotta buy 3 containers of oil now. So £91 for that. I had to do my indicator lamps again because the plastic tabs broke on those cheapy £25 one from last year. So I did proper £45 a side. So that was £90 for the front indicator lenses. The Toyota ones are holding up for the full year now. They're going much better. Fog lights, I did those for £40, but you know, these are aftermarket ones and they're already getting condensation in them. So I'm gonna live with it, but I'd probably just buy Toyota if I was doing it again. Next is a little one, which is the FG Cruiser washer jets. You've maybe seen my video on that. These are awesome, and those were £28. Super easy to fit and a nice upgrade for the washers on the car. And I also did one set of windscreen wipers this year, the Bosch ones, the good ones, £22. So on the inside, I had some real mischief this year with the driver's seat controls. I had to take the seat out and do a bunch of wiring tests, and in the end, a new switch was able to fix the problem. That was £106 from Amayama. It was a big job to diagnose that, but in the end it was just a switch. So if you find that your seat is moving in some directions, but not all of them, try the seat switch. Round the back, I made some updates to the tilting drawer. That was £30 worth of sort of wood and a few hinges and things. I did my fuel pump tank filter, finally. That was £25, and that's right in the belly of the beast. Seats out, carpets off, and all the rest. And I also bought just some cheap tailored rubber mats for £19 because I started doing some off-roading and my mats were getting filthy. So I spent 19 quid on that. 1,063 for my fuel, 415 for my insurance, 430 for my road tax now, and 100 quid for my MOT. Another 110 for breakdown cover as well. The MOT though, that's an expensive MOT, I hear you cry, or at least some people cried that in the past. Well, it's an expensive express MOT. It was 100 quid, it took him less than an hour, and he looks after me. This year it was even a next day MOT because I fucking forgot that it expired. And so I phoned him up to say, when can you fit me in? And he said, just bring it tomorrow. Top guy. Next year's gonna be a big one again. I'm gonna have to overhaul the rear diff lock actuator and the lower control arms and the injectors and basically every pulley and radiator on the front of the car and maybe the turbo, and it's going to be expensive. So it must be said, 2026 was a cheap year. £915 on maintenance, £923 on repairs, so £2,018 just keeping it on the road. Then another £2,018 on costs. I also spent £984 on modifications this year, but we're not going to mention that unless everyone wants to hear, because some people get upset about that, and that's fair enough. That means this Land Cruiser, as it sits here today, has cost me £14,641 just on repairs and maintenance, most of which is done by me, so there's no labour in there. Most of that is just parts and not paying a garage to do it. So that's an average of £3,660 per year. That doesn't include the bills of, you know, insurance and fuel. That's just fixing shit that's gone wrong or will go wrong. I've done 17,000 miles in total since I bought this car. £4,360 on diesel, doing just over 22 miles to the gallon. And that's pretty good considering it's heavy as fuck and it's on 35s. So that means, on average, drum roll please, I am spending an average of £305 per month on repairs and maintenance during my ownership of this car. That's it, £305. So if you compare that to some of the lease deals that I was looking at earlier on, that's a lot more than £305 a month. So I hope you will agree that that is both cheaper and more interesting than buying something new on a lease deal. And maybe a bit cooler too. Cheap year, shorter video than usual. I'm freezing cold. At least it stopped raining now. It's taken me 4 different visits to this corner to try and eventually get it done because it's been so cold. It's supposed to be near summer, but it just doesn't seem to be happening. We had a hail shower. Okay, we're good. I'm keeping the car. I'll update you with my year 5 costs. It's probably going to be more expensive, but I'm pretty glad that that was a shorter list of expenses this year at least. I'm sure my wife will be happy too. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned a thing or two, maybe some ideas for what you might want to fix on your Land Cruiser. Please subscribe if you enjoy the videos. Hit like if you enjoyed this one. Making them is a real labor of love because, and today was hard. At one point I was thinking, what am I doing? I'm so cold. Why am I doing this? So it's a labor of love. I enjoy doing this and I enjoy hearing from you in the comments, so let me know if you enjoyed the video. Click like and subscribe if you haven't already, and feel free to check out my other costs video, and I will actually make a playlist of all the running totals of my annual Land Cruiser costs, so that you can all feel good that yours are cheaper to run than mine. Okay, thank you very much everyone. Stay safe, make good decisions, and I will see you in another video very soon. Take care. Thanks everyone.